Morning all. I had quite an interesting game last night in the Middlesex League, Division 1. I was playing against Tim Rogers, a player I've played in the past in tournaments, a very enthusiastic tournament player. And I was playing white. I kicked off with e4. He played the Korokon, and I thought I'd punt the Panov-Botvinnik attack system. So that's e takes d5 here, and c4. I guess part of the influence of this was the Alekhine games the other night on the Kingscrusher radio show. We saw a couple of Alekhine victories with this. He reacted with knight f6 here. We see knight c3, e6, knight f3, bishop b4, and this is all standard stuff actually so far. I accept the possibility of an isolated queen's pawn here with bishop d3. He did take, and now knight c6. It's interesting, knight c6. It does have its own advantages for a later like knight a5. Another way, in the past, it's been played with knight bd7. That would sort of guarantee a more blockade on d5. So it's interesting to play it like this, knight c6. We both castle now, and I play bishop g5, bishop e7. And one of the things about knight c6 that can be ruled out is knight b4 to d5 if black wants to establish a strong blockade. So I prevent that with a3. And I've seen this pattern before played against me as black, against Andrew Hon actually once when he played like this, and d5 was later dangerous. So that's the basic plan here, trying to avoid the blockade on d5. He played b6, queen d3, trying to set up this battery construction, bishop b7. I've got to be careful now though, because knight a5 hits the bishop, and then there's bishop takes f3 and queen takes d4. So rook a d1 I thought was sensible to safeguard the d4 pawn. Okay, so knight d5, and here there's still quite a few stem games, and moves that have been played before include taking on e7, dropping the bishop back, or taking on d5. I think bishop takes d5 offers white a good game. Let's do a quick reference check. Engom has the best player playing this 2-5-8-5. Bishop takes d5. So I played actually a bad move really. If black plays the best response here after bishop e3. Or the best continuation rather, he played a very good move. Knight takes c3, b takes c3, and I think a very good move here is simply knight a5. If you imagine knight a5, bishop a2, black can double the pawns here and play bishop d6 now. I think I've checked this with an engine this line as well, because bishop d6 I think is very accurate. So with the threat of queen h4, I can't be any better here. This is pretty bad for white. Black's more than equal here. Now thankfully after bishop e3, yeah, he did take on c3, but he took this pawn on a3, which gives me some attacking chances. First of all, there's a weakness of the last move. It's not covering g5, and I use this to provoke a weakness. I play knight g5, threatening the very crude mate. He plays g6. Okay, he's a pawn up, but I'm getting a little bit more time for constructing an attack. I play bishop f4, which gives me the idea now that I can switch the queen to g3 and then maybe to h4 later. He plays bishop e7, that prevents queen h3 because he just takes the knight. So queen g3, and I thought, well, you know, maybe it's okay here. There's the promise of d5 at some point as well, if he doesn't blockade that. And black should really do something about d5 here, I think. He played actually he played actually rook e8. Before looking at rook e8 and what happened, if he plays knight a5 here, this is still very good for black. Bishop d3, let's say rook c8, rook c1, queen d5, and it's very difficult for white to prove any advantage here. White's worst pawn down. He's got a lock on c4, a nice battery on g2. This knight is kind of misplaced. Black's very, very solid here. You can imagine this position. It's not much for white at all. Black's a little bit better, objectively. So basically, I have gone wrong theoretically with bishop e3. Actually, it wasn't. This whole thing is really working out well if black plays like this. There's no real attack to worry about. In the game, though, I was fortunate. Then after queen g3, he plays actually rook e8, and rook e8, I guess, might have been designed against queen h4 in some way. Although queen h4 does look potentially dangerous here as well. I mean, I was initially looking at things like queen h4, h5, g4, but then, you know, this diagonal, if I ever try and do this, I could get in big trouble like this. And now king g7, and we were looking at a little bit of this in post-mortem. This could be totally horrendous as well for white, with no real attack, and actually black's just dominating the position. But basically, there's a much stronger idea than queen h4, which is just play d5 now. It hasn't been blockaded, and there's a kind of weakness of this last move. The f7 is more sensitive now after rook e8. So I'm staring at the queen, and this is big trouble for black. He plays e takes d5, and now I've got great options. I think I pick one of the stronger ones. I play knight takes f7. It's setting up a double attack against the queen and king now. He took, and I play rook takes d5, and so a big discovery check threatened here, and as well as attacking the queen. He felt the position was hopeless here. It is actually much better for white on engine checks. It is actually hopeless, I think, for black here. He'll be losing his queen, for example. That's one way, unless there might even be. Well, the attack would rage on as well after that. So simply just winning the queen is enough. We could do a quick engine check if there's any mate or anything, just very quickly. If queen here, actually rook f5 is even more accurate. Double check. This is a mate in 5. Check. Check here is mating. Okay, but I think I was just intending to win the queen if nothing else. But actually he resigned here, so I was a bit lucky there that I got away with this. This whole line with bishop e3 is a bit suspect, and I was a bit lucky actually that knight a5 and bishop takes f3 wasn't played instead of nabbing the pawn, which was a bit riskier for black, and it worked out very well in the game continuation, of course, for me. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.